Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. Welcome to my car, which I'm sure all you regular viewers or listeners, of course, by now will know means that I am at the Schober Realty Training Centre, London Colney, as us old school Arsenal fans that know it, for Arsenal's open training session ahead of their trip to Spain. They're going to be flying out a little bit later on today ahead of that Champions League clash against Girona tomorrow night. So before they go, we get to spend about 15-20 minutes down here watching some training. Well, I say training, basically watching them warm up for training, but it's always a good exercise because we get to see who potentially is involved or who potentially isn't involved. Of course, there'll be some question marks about Martin Odegaard. He missed the game against Wolves the weekend due to illness, was sent home from the team hotel on Saturday morning. Will he be out training today? Fingers crossed he will be, so hopefully I'll be able to spot that. Merino, he missed the game against Wolves, of course. Will he be back? There's Ben White, there's Takahiro Tomiyasu. Could we be seeing them? I understand Ben White is very, very close to being back in full training now, and that was from a conversation I had last week, so hopefully maybe he will be there today and I'll be able to report on that as well. So yeah, I am here. It's just, what is it, 10:23 at the moment on Wednesday morning. Should be going over there in about 20 minutes or so to watch the training, and yes, I will hopefully record some videos and then I will report back afterwards talking about what I've had to see. Speak to you in a bit. We go, heading off to the training pitches now. Some wind. Very wet London Colney this morning. Wet and muddy. The media are walking over to where we're going to be put, as far away from the players as possible. Not going to be the longest session today. Players flying out to Spain. We'll see a little bit later on. Not too long before they start coming out. Players starting to come out now. Merino is over there. He obviously missed the game against Wolves, but he's out. Miles Lewis-Skelly, after what happened against Wolves. Kai Havertz ended the game against Wolves on the floor, clutching the back of his leg, but he's here, so he's fit. And I did see him a minute ago. There he is. Just see him walking out there. Martin Odegaard, who obviously missed the game at the weekend with illness, but he's fine and he's making his way out to training. There's the captain. See over whatever that illness was at the weekend. Hi, Zinchenko, Rice and Gabriel. I think that is it. So no sign of Tomiyasu or Ben White still. But Odegaard, Merino, Havertz, all training today. We'd love to see any of this, given how far away Mikel Arteta has taken them from us. But training now underway, done the warm-ups, some sort of little match. Would have been nice to see Ben White or Tomiyasu, especially Ben White today. Very, very close apparently, but not back yet. Right, back in the dry now. Oh, it's absolutely miserable out there. Fortunately, the worst of the weather came just as we were walking back into the car park, because it was absolutely horrible there now. I'm glad I'm not standing out in the rain, but the players are out there training in it and will be for the next hour or so before heading back in and making their way to the airport. So obviously the big news, as you saw in those videos, if you could even see the players in those videos, because they train so far away. Honestly, Mikel Arteta, such a joker when he does it. It's just like he refuses to let them train anywhere near us. It's fine, really, for me, because I'm only there to look at with my eyes to see who's out there. But for the for the TV cameras who are desperately trying to get some footage to send back to be able to use when they're training that far away, even with those long lenses, it's not ideal. And you know full well that's Arteta's thinking. Doesn't want to make it easy for the media. Fair play, I suppose. But yeah, you could see, anyway, there was Merino. He was back, obviously missed a game against Wolves, so that's good news. Odegaard was there after that illness, so he's available. Who else was the doubt? There was no Tomiyasu, there was no Ben White. It's a shame. I was really hoping I might get to see Ben White today, because he is apparently very, very close, but obviously not quite close enough. So he was out. Saliba apparently didn't train yesterday. He obviously came back for the Wolves game, was having suffered from that hamstring injury, and he didn't train yesterday, but he was out there today, so that's good news. Mars Lewis-Skelly training. Obviously, you'd imagine he's going to play. I mean, we'll wait on the appeal. Arsenal's appeal had to be submitted before yesterday. I think that has gone in, but then they had to provide further evidence. I think that you've got to wait till 5 p.m. or they've got till 5 p.m. today to then submit further evidence. And we're hearing stories, Sammy Mockbell, the Mail, reporting that Arsenal will be sending in footage of the Bruno Fernandes red card against Spurs earlier in the season as evidence. I mean, they just have to show the evidence of what we saw later on in the game against Wolves, with the second yellow card given to João Gomez, which was a far worse tackle than the one Lewis-Skelly produced, obviously, and Lewis-Skelly got a straight red, so it's just evidence on that. I've seen some really good sort of examples as well from earlier in the season. The Caicedo one against Spurs for Chelsea, you know, well over the top, high above the ankle, all this rubbish that you keep seeing sort of put out as why there was possibility that it was a red card tackle, because it was over the ankle and all that rubbish, which is obviously complete, as I said, just nonsense. But there is so much video footage and evidence that Arsenal can send in, and they are gathering, and that needs to be put in by 5 p.m. today. And then it's going to go to an independent tribunal. You know, PGMOL obviously haven't waived the red card. They haven't rescinded it, which means Arsenal will have to go to appeal. That will be done by an independent tribunal of 3 people, and you have to get the majority vote. So you have to get 2 people on that panel to agree that it was not worthy of a red card. And if you get 2 people, you get the majority, then the red card will be overturned. So we'll wait and see on that. Lewis-Skelly was training today. If it's not overturned, then he can't play at the weekend against Manchester City. Obviously, will that come into Mikel Arteta's thinking when it comes to his team selection yesterday? Kai Havertz was there. Sorry, that was the player I was thinking of, who I couldn't just get off the top of my head. He was there against Wolves. He was absolutely out on his feet at the end of that game. I was a bit worried that he'd suffered some sort of hamstring injury when he went down in those last few minutes. Just couldn't get himself back up again. After that, Mikel Arteta was screaming at him to get up, and he couldn't. He eventually did get himself up and then collapsed again at the full-time whistle. And there was signs that he was clutching the back of his leg and the dreaded hamstring, but he was out training today, which is positive news. I don't think Kai Havertz should be anywhere near the starting 11 for this game tomorrow, especially the fact that Manchester City's coming up at the weekend. Arsenal got no other options to play up front. You know, yes, you want to win against Girona. You want to finish the campaign with a win, guarantee yourselves your position in the top 8. I mean, Arsenal, they're virtually guaranteed anyway, but you just don't take a risk with Kai Havertz, even if it's a case of putting, you know, playing Nathan Butler-Adeji up front in this game against Girona. Just do it. You've got to protect Kai Havertz. He is out on his feet. It was so obvious in that game against Wolves, so I don't want to see him anywhere near the starting 11. Who else? Duran Timber. He's another one. I think absolutely needs a rest tomorrow to protect him for that game. Whether that means Thomas Partey playing at right back, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. There are a few more options now. The return of Ricardo Calafiori obviously gives Mikel more options in defence he's had for a while. Like I said, it would have been so nice to see Ben White out there today. Maybe you're looking at White and Tomiyasu now and thinking, you know what, let's just get through to that break that we have when we're going to go over to Dubai. Just make sure they're ready for that, so they can come away, go to Dubai, come back and be ready for those last 3 months of the season, or 2.5 months of the season. Maybe that is the thinking. But yeah, it would have been nice to see Ben White, I have to admit, when I was driving here. Not just because of how gorgeous he is, of course, but it would have just been great to see him out there. What a boost that will be to the team to have Ben White back, because the options that gives Mikel in terms of right back, centre back, you know, it's just massive. Arsenal desperately need him and Tomiyasu back, no doubt about that. But look, still good news from the training ground today. Definitely when it comes to Martin Odegaard, that's a boost for Arsenal, whether he plays tomorrow or not. Elsewhere, just before I was recording this video, I saw Fabrizio Romano has now tweeted the Aidan Heaven to Manchester United is pretty much done and dusted. He will be going there. I had my say on it earlier in the week. I don't understand it. I'm not sure what your reasoning will be. Well, I pretty much have a fair inkling of what the reason will be if you're going to Manchester United right now from Arsenal, and it's going to be a financial one, you would imagine, for him and his agent. And if that's the case, then fair play, good luck to him. I'm not going to lose any sleep over the fact that Aidan Heaven has gone to United. It's a disappointment. Obviously, he's a talented young defender, played in pre-season, looked fairly impressive in pre-season. Mikel Arteta, he's been training with the team a lot. He's made his first team debut this season. You know, he's only looking at his mates in Ethan Nwaneri and Mars Lewis-Skelly and seeing they're playing and becoming regulars in the first team this season. So it's obvious the pathway is there, and if you can take your opportunity, you get a chance in this team. But he's decided, just as Chido Obi Martin did, to go to Manchester United in the current state that they are. And like I said, it's very much dog eat dog when it comes to youth football and players before they sign their professional contract. It's really, really hard to keep them because they get so many offers, especially financial, from elsewhere, and it is very, very hard to keep these players. And you know, Arsenal managed it with Ethan Nwaneri, they managed it with Mars Lewis-Skelly, which is great, but you lose these players as well. Everyone does. Manchester City do, and Arsenal look like they're losing another in Aidan Heaven. I don't think there's going to be, you know, they did want to keep him. They offered him a contract. They did all they could do. You know, he's still on scholarship terms. The fact he hasn't signed his first pro deal just makes it very, very easy. There'll just be a bit of compensation have to be agreed now between Manchester United and Arsenal to get that done. And yeah, we're on the final stages of it, according to Fabrizio Romano. So it's a shame, but no, I'm not going to cry. Not going to shed too many tears over that departure, and good luck to him. Let's see if he makes it at Manchester United or not. Elsewhere, not really anything going on transfer-wise in terms of Arsenal. We're under a week away now from the for the close of the transfer window. Really, really surprised that we still haven't done anything. Still believe something will happen between now and the window. Obviously, we spoke yesterday about Sphere, Nipan. I'm still trying to get the pronunciation right. I heard, and I did check it out, and I listened to a Norwegian saying it as Nipan, but I know a lot of people have been saying Nipan, so we'll see. If Arsenal sign him, then I'll put more effort into making sure I find out the exact way to pronounce that. But anyway, that's going to come to a conclusion very, very soon. He's going to make his decision. Obviously, he's been doing the rounds of all the top clubs. He's been here, he's been at Manchester City, Aston Villa, been doing the rounds here and clubs abroad as well. So we'll see what decision he makes in terms of where he's going to go. But the expectation is he will be leaving Rosenborg before the end of the window, and Arsenal have positioned themselves strongly to try and get a deal done for him. So that's on the agenda potentially between now and deadline day, and we'll have to wait and see when it comes to this attacker. Been sitting here for the last month waiting for it, expecting it. It's not happened yet. Arsenal's stance is that they are still working and actively looking to strengthen Mikel Arteta's squad and to give the players some help that they absolutely need, that Mikel Arteta has been calling for throughout the window very, very publicly, but they haven't done it yet, and the clock is absolutely ticking. Duran, I've seen mentioned today in, it's been mentioned. I saw speculation of it. I think someone attributed it to Fabrizio, saying that Arsenal had made a call or something. I haven't actually seen that. I did check Fabrizio's tweets. I didn't see it, so I'm not sure where that's come from and if that's correct or not. But I saw David Ornstein reporting today that there is an expectation potentially that something might happen with one of Villa's two forwards, because Unai Emery only wants to play one, a lone sort of striker, and obviously you've got two forwards who very much want to start in Duran and in Ollie Watkins, so one could potentially leave, and it looks like if that happens, then it is going to be Duran. The figure banded around is £80 million, and I like Duran. I think he's got something really good about him. I think he's just got an eye for goal. He's very self-centered when it comes to that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing when it comes to strikers. But 8 million, you know, for someone with such a small sample size, that feels like an awful lot of money. And yeah, so again, there's not really been any more substance to it, just a few spurious links when it comes to Arsenal and Jean Duran. But we'll wait and see what happens in the transfer window, but not heard anything yet. Let's see how that moves on between now and the next few days. But for now, the focus very much on the Champions League, and that's been the talk of the place here at the Showboat Realty Training Centre. The news is Martin Odegaard is back, Mikel Merino is back, Kai Havertz is fine, he's been training, so decision to be made on him. And yeah, no Ben White and no Takahiro Tomiyasu. Right, that's it from me today, everyone. Bit of a different video to the normal ones. I'll be back in the morning to do my preview show. You want to get involved in that? Give me your predicted 11s. What you think Mikel Arteta should do in terms of naming his team selection? What players should he rest? What players should he start? Let me know your thoughts, and as always, I'll pull some of them together and get them included in tomorrow's preview show. The team is flying out to Girona a little bit later on today. Mikel Arteta will be doing a press conference about 7 p.m, or it's scheduled to be 7 p.m. UK time. From someone who's done a lot of these trips, I tend to know that these press conferences start an awful lot later than they are scheduled when Arsenal go abroad. There will be a player speaking as well alongside Mikel Arteta a little bit later on today. So we'll get the very latest from him when the team and the squad arrive in Spain. Right, that's it from the the Schober Realty Training Centre, London Colney. That's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.